Okay. Councillor Davis, please. Councillor Wong Tam.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And through you, Mr. Mayor, you don't like the way the report is currently laid out. You've said that several times. How do you need this report laid out in order for you to take some type of action on it?
No, I'm sorry, Councillor. I would want you to be clear on what I said. I didn't say anything about how I didn't like the way the report was laid out. I said very clearly, what we have here is a report written by our professional public servants, not influenced, as far as I know, by any politicians, and certainly not by me. I'd never even heard of it. I mean, except that the issue had been discussed, but I'd never had a briefing on it until this came along. And that report, written of their own volition, sets out all kinds of reasons why this proposal was not ready for prime time, to the point where they recommended it be taken back for 2 more years of work. And I'm simply saying that I would like to see the issue addressed. I said before, and I repeat it, I believe the public policy objective that has been tried to be achieved here, as Councillor Perks pointed out for years, is a valid public policy objective. But that when you have a staff report written by professional public servants that kind of says the thing is not ready for prime time and says it needs 2 more years of work, I say let's not try and unscramble this egg. Let's go back, and if we need to deal first with the issue that Councillor Davis raised, that's fine. But I would prefer to see it dealt with in the way they tried to deal with it this time, but obviously unsuccessfully, when the authors of the report say it's not. It's got all kinds of flaws in it.
In other staff reports, we've actually seen staff come forward with especially dealing with complex matters, several steps to a solution. That's their critical
several steps.
path.
Sorry, I couldn't hear
Taking several steps. It's not just a one step to a resolution, but several steps. So a step or two in the series of recommendations before us that will take us to a critical path to an outcome. But what you're saying is that even despite all the claim of our very professional staff, you don't think they have the capacity to come up with a better solution. So you're taking away that interim step that they've asked council to give them direction to do. Is that what you're not doing?
What I am saying, Madam Speaker, through you, is that I think this had enough serious flaws in it, as evidenced by their report, not by flaws I identified, they did, that I think they're better off to go back to the beginning and look at the public policy objective and look at the Philadelphia model, which the deputant was very happy to hold up. And if it means looking at Councillor Davis's issue first, which may be a logical place to start, that's fine with me. But I just think you have to go back. You have to go back and start over instead of spending 2 more years trying to fix this, which to me looked like it was an egg that was scrambled and that couldn't be unscrambled, as I've said.
How do you like your eggs?
How do I?
How do you like your eggs? You keep asking for the eggs to be unscrambled.
Hey,
no, this is a serious question I'm asking.
We're supposed to be breaking shortly, and we have another item.
Then I also have 2 more minutes, Madam Speaker. How deep does the water have to be before, Mr. Mayor, we can see some action from
again,
you?
Councillor,
how many streets have to be flooded?
No, but Councillor, this is the part where I believe you are mischaracterizing what's going on here to the public. If I said earlier on, and I was very straightforward in saying this, that if I thought there was no money to do anything in the city to remedy a problem that is widespread in a number of areas, whether it's basement flooding or streets that have too much water on them, then I would obviously be very concerned about that in the context of in effect starting over, although I don't think we start from scratch. But the fact is, I heard our own staff say, again, our professional public servants, we have a fully funded program that is in place, thanks to decisions, quite frankly, taken by previous councils to my being here, that has collected money that allows us to be investing hundreds of millions of dollars in making progress on what you asked about, which is streets that are flooded and basements that are flooded. And if I thought there was nothing being done and no money, but that's not true. And those who characterize it that way, or those who connect the flooding on the island to this, I mean, I just think are mischaracterizing things in a way that I think is really disreputable.
My question, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate that answer, but my question was not answered. My question was, how deep does the water have to be before you're able to take some action on this? But how many streets must be flooded before we can see some leadership on this matter?
But Councillor, again, through you, Madam Speaker, you're implying that somehow that this program not proceeding on this day in this form is going to lead to water getting deeper on streets. And the fact of the matter is that if there's funding available right now to address And this was meant to be revenue neutral, so it was not going to produce, in fact, it was going to produce less money. That's one of the reasons that I have doubts about the report, because the school boards were going to be exempted from it. So we're going to be short millions of dollars, actually. But if it's supposed to be revenue neutral, and we have a fully funded mechanism in place now, this was about shifting money back and forth as between people who are deemed to contribute to the, I'll call it the problem. And so I don't understand your question about how deep does the water have to get. The water's not going to get deeper because of any decision we take here today, or shallower. It's simply going to reallocate financial responsibility for this problem, which is being fixed slowly but surely.
Okay, thank you. That was your last question. Okay, on the motion, ring the bells. Motion by Councillor Davis. Motion 1. Recorded vote.
Councillor Bailão, please. Councillor Perruzza, please. Councillor Lee, thank you.
Councillor Fletcher, please.
The motion does not carry. The vote is 17 to 26.
Okay. On the item, all in favor, recorded vote.
Councillor Shan, Councillor Davis, please.
The item is adopted 27 to 16.
Now,